Hey guys, it's your girl Eda. Aside from being the Let's Talk Paralegal podcast host, I am a legal consultant, author, and advocate for change within the legal industry. Every episode, we dive deep into the tools, strategies, and real world insights you need to succeed, featuring inspiring guests and topics that matter most to the modern legal profession. So, if you find value in these conversations, be sure to subscribe to the Let's Talk Paralegal podcast and download our episodes for your commute, coffee break, or brainstorming session. And if you know someone who could benefit, don't forget to send them our way. Referrals are always welcome. Let's create a stronger, more empowered legal industry together. In this episode, I'm going into a topic that's shaping the future of the legal industry: artificial intelligence. AI is no longer a futuristic concept. It's here, and it's making waves in how legal professionals work. But what does that mean for us paralegals, attorneys, and legal support staff? Should we fear it, embrace it, or find a middle ground? Well, listen in for more. Hey guys, it's your girl Eda, and welcome to the Let's Talk Paralegal podcast. Today we're going to talk about the future of AI and what it means for the legal industry. This actually came from when I was presenting, and I had the honor at the Clio Virtual AI Summit this February. And most of the questions and the intake and all the information that I received after and during the presentation, I kind of collected and condensed into this episode. So I hope that this is going to be a valuable episode for you, as it was very important for me to share this information, especially now with the new narrative and the talks surrounding AI. I want to make sure that everyone's on the same page and that everybody understands what's happening. So we're first going to talk about AI's role in the legal industry and what that looks like, right? So AI has already started to change the way legal professionals operate. However, the actual scientific discipline of AI has been developing for about 70 years. What we're seeing now is called generative AI. And what generative AI is: a ChatGPT, a Cloud, a Gemini, basically what I like to call glorified Google, because it's a large language module. And what happens is it's collecting all the information from where out there, right, the World Wide Web, and it's condensing it and summarizing it in its way, and then it's providing that information back to us. However, the next level is agentic AI, and that's really the future. So you got to stay tuned for that. I'll do a whole episode about agentic, but to give you a simple breakdown of what each one is. Generative AI, again, is that large language module, right? It'll bring all that information in, it'll customize it and concise it, it'll even maneuver it to your language so that you can create content with it. Whatever it is, it'll provide you with recipes depending on your diet. Of course, you always have to place that information in. It's also embedded in our case management softwares and our document management software. So that's going to be different. We'll break that down throughout the actual episode. Now, agentic AI is kind of what you're seeing, is the beginnings of what you're seeing now as well, which is Meta AI has been in the forefront, and also Elon Musk's Neuralink has been in the forefront of agentic AI. Agentic AI can pretty much think on its own, which is why people are very skeptical of it and very questioning it. So Meta AI is those glasses that you see now, advertisement, and the virtual glasses and all the things. And Neuralink also is where it connects to your brain, and then it actually it'll send signals to your nerves, and it'll tell your body what to do without your actual brain doing it. So these are very sophisticated, complicated things. And again, we'll talk about that in a separate episode, but just to give you a general idea. Now, generative AI, I have an entire episode. You can go and listen to that. I'll add the link to the description. So if you want to learn more about generative AI, that episode's already out. Having said that, I'm going to go over how we see it and use it now, how AI is used now, AI-powered tools. So, of course, legal research, right? AI-powered tools like Westlaw Edge and Case Text Co-Counsel and also LexisNexis, they all have been speeding up the process of how case law is analyzed. So whereas before it would shepherdize it for us or key cite it, it'll basically just summarize the information, tell us if there was a counter case law that it overthrew that, or if it's still good law. It now actually provides us with counter arguments. It'll tell us, hey, by the way, if you want to counter argue this, then here's the case law for you, and this is how you can use it, and this is how it looks like, and this is where you can find it, and this is the substance, right? So it'll definitely condense the time when you're doing legal research. You can also use it in document review and e-discovery, which is primarily where it's mostly used right now. So these AI-assisted tools, they can process large amount of data, and that actually reduces the need for the exhaustive manual review that us litigators really dread, especially come time for trial. So in order for these tools to be more useful to you, what it'll do is it'll summarize the data, it'll highlight it, it'll structure it however you want. Of course, you got to tell it what to do and how to do it. And that way you don't have to go through every single little piece of paper, every single little fact, every single little nuance. It'll actually provide that information for you, and then the manual review can start. And that's probably the easiest way that you can use it. There's also contract management, right? So platforms like Ironclad and LawGeeks, they're streamlining contracts, right? So they're by drafting, by reviewing contracts, and of course by analyzing the risks of the contract. So once you streamline it through these softwares or the contract management AI powered tools, then you can review the document, you can see if a clause needs to be added or removed, or if it missed something. Again, that manual review is always going to be needed. And of course, through chat boxes and client intake. This is, again, where law firms are starting if they're starting with AI powered tools. These are basically like virtual assistants, and they can handle initial client questions. So that makes the legal services more accessible. So if this potential client has a question to see if your law firm is a good fit, well, it can ask this chat box, and the chat box can respond to it, right? Like those frequently asked questions that always live on the sites. Well, this is more like a live thing so that they don't have to search for it, or if they have a specific question. It could also be a live person, or it can be those virtual AI assistants where you can click and it'll tell you, what are your questions? Okay, according to this, and then you click on it and it'll give you answers, right? Kind of like a frequently asked question, but like searchable. But you can also have a live virtual AI. So it depends on how it is. Also, it can help you with the client intake. So it can create intake formations for you, templates, all the things. Now let's get into a little bit more of the pros and what it brings in the legal industry. Of course, as you can hear, it's increased the efficiency, right? So AI tools allow these legal professionals to complete tasks faster, also saving time and increasing those billable hours for more complex work, right? Because that's really what we're here for. We're here to analyze and review and critical think and all the things. And we can't do that because we're stuck on these little minute tasks all the time, or we're constantly on the phone hunting for information, or somebody missed a data or a fact and now you're having to chase it. All the things, right? So it's going to make your life a lot easier, and it's going to make you a lot more efficient because now you're able to focus on substantive work. Now, it also costs reduction, right? The law firms can cut costs by automating these repetitive tasks and by reducing the need for additional personnel. Doesn't mean that the law firm can't find other positions to fill, but it will relieve the need to have, let's say, 5 intake people versus just having 2 or 3. It also improves the accuracy because AI reduces the human error by analyzing and cross-referencing data with extreme precision. As we all have heard before, where ChatGPT passed the bar in several states, and most of them were one of the hardest ones. So it is capable of actually doing that. So we know that the precision is always there. But again, it's always all information in, depending on what you're feeding it. And access to justice. It's a big topic, guys. We have to be honest with ourselves. This is a great tool, a great way to find more accessible, affordable, AI-powered solutions that can provide those legal services in a more efficient way for those that may not otherwise have sought it because they couldn't afford it or they didn't have access to it. So this provides and alleviates those much needed gaps that we have because otherwise they just wouldn't have information. So with every new thing, there's always going to be challenges and, of course, ethical concerns. So we're going to go over those. Job displacement fears, right? Will AI replace paralegals or junior associates? Not necessarily. It's just going to make those roles evolve and look differently. Before, AI is only as good as the data it's trained on. So if you provide biased data, it can lead to unfair legal outcomes, right? So the bias in the AI decision-making is always going to be there, just like the human. So we just need to be aware of the information and the data that we're feeding it in order to get the most precise and concise information. Confidentiality and security. How do we ensure that these AI tools are complying with the attorney-client privilege and the data privacy laws, right? So that's an easy fix, and we'll go over that. But also the human element. I have a whole other episode that's humanizing the legal industry. Feel free to check that out if you want to learn more about how the AI lacks emotional intelligence and critical thinking and ethical judgment. That's required, right? It's required for those little nuances, especially when we're doing decision-making in the legal industry, but also our clients, right? We have to be empathetic, and who better knows our client than us? Now, the future of AI is a little different, right? So AI is not going to replace legal professionals, but again, it's going to redefine those roles. You're going to have to learn new skills, and you're going to have to learn how to research, and you're going to have to learn how to, analyze data a little differently and really improve and develop new skills in legal tech. And that's really going to help, paralegals and junior associates. Now, law firms are going to need to adapt and invest in AI tools to remain competitive. So as of right now, almost every case management software, if not all, have an AI tool embedded. So the easiest way that you can reduce those ethical concerns that we were talking about is by using those, because the AI tool is already embedded in the case management software that carries the information of the clients. So you're not going outside of that system. It's almost like using your personal computer for work purposes or vice versa. So you don't want to go to ChatGPT, you don't want to go to a Claude in order to seek this information. You want to make sure that you're increasing your efficiency, right? So there will be an increase in demand for AI oversight and regulation within the legal profession. So you have to make sure that you're on it and that you're focused on what needs to be focused. Of course, I'm always going to have some final thoughts and reflection time because that is what I do, especially in bonus episodes. So AI is not something to fear. It's a tool, right? It's going to enhance our capabilities. As legal professionals, we have to stay ahead of the curve by learning and adapting and embracing the changes that AI brings to our industry. The key is to strike the balance, though, right? We have to find that balance between technology advancement and, of course, the human touch that defines what legal practices, legal departments, and legal organizations should look like. So I'm going to leave you with this. What do you think? Is AI a game changer for the better, or do you still have concerns? Let's continue that conversation. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, comment on this episode, or even join me for an upcoming Let's Talk Paralegal live session. Thank you for tuning in. Until justice is served, until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making an impact in this legal world. Bye, guys. In In this episode, I'm going into a topic that's shaping the future of the legal industry: artificial intelligence. AI is no longer a futuristic concept. It's here, and it's making waves in how legal professionals work. But what does that mean for us paralegals, attorneys, and legal support staff? Should we fear it, embrace it, or find a middle ground? Well, listen in for more.